This is Sean.
This is Kevin.
And this is The One Other Thing, Season 2, Episode 9.
No, I think it's 10.
Is it 10?
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote 9.
Yeah.
You're right. It is 10.
10. We finally have 10 episodes in Season 2.
Sometimes the notebook fails.
Haha. I just happened to look up today. That's why I knew we did 9 episodes.
Yeah, you did, actually, and it wasn't that long ago. But when I wrote it down, I wrote a 9, and I was, if it's written.
It's written, and it is. Actually, we should have 2 episode 9s. I'm okay with that.
This
9 was so good.
This
Let's
is
keep
a
it going.
redo.
Yeah, it's a redo.
That does seem to be a thing, though, these days, doesn't it?
Yeah,
reboot.
Yeah,
I almost believe we've run out of all of original ideas at this point. Because, and the worst part is, the majority of the good stuff is the remaster, the remake, the reboot.
How sad are you that they're rebooting Babylon 5?
I'll be curious. Yes. Honestly, I'll probably
with
watch
modern
it.
technology, a little bit less campy was what I'm expecting, because that's what modern times is.
Well, because of you, I'll probably watch it.
Well, shows in the 80s and 90s were campy. They were.
Yeah.
They were all campy, especially in the late 70s, man. A-Team in the 80s, A-Team, they're all campy. So, but I've noticed that's the general trend of shows, is that they're trying to get more dystopian, more serious, more depressing. So that seems to be a theme that we all enjoy.
I mean, can we incorporate the freeze frame into the end of our shows?
Oh, yeah, I know. It's like, let's jump up.
I do miss that.
Yeah, from the cop, was that cop show that you liked?
It's not the Naked Gun, it's the Police Squad.
The Police Squad.
Yeah. It's just so great. So great. That's such a great bit. It absolutely kills me. Pouring coffee, it's going all over the place. I'm telling you, if you've never seen Police Squad and you enjoy Naked Gun, it's worth looking up.
Definitely.
But anyway, welcome to The One Other Thing, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
It's been a while. I'll be honest, Season 2 has been the most volatile season yet. So I'm just addressing that in the beginning of every show these days.
Yes.
But it is what it is, folks. I don't know what to say. I will say, Season 3, we have plans on how to make this a little more stable for you.
Well, the problem with disclaimers, especially with us, is that we could probably fill an entire show of disclaimers.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It could go on for a while.
We apologize to everyone living and dead. And
this can be hazardous to your health.
Yeah, in between. Yeah.
You should not listen to this.
It's probably not in your best interest.
Definitely.
But that said, if you are listening, we're glad to have you. And as always, we welcome you. It's part of the Tudor family. And... this episode is not going to be one of our longer ones because we noticed that...
I heard some applause in the distance in the future.
Exactly. Left to our own devices, like I said, we do this. The show is just we turn the recorder on for a little while. Generally speaking, this is what happens. But that said, we are going to try to keep this one on the shorter side. And again, Season 3, we're actually doing pre-planning this time, not pre-scripting.
We don't
planning.
No, we can't script the show.
It absolutely cannot be
can't
scripted.
Be
I don't think you should write it down after the fact either.
It should be done and forgotten.
That said, if you do, and a demon comes to your home, you have no one but yourself to blame.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you evoked him.
You evoked the demons.
So how you been, buddy? It's been a while.
It's been pretty good. I mean, I missed you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I will. Now I will always talk about it after the fact. But I did in fact go on vacation, and as any intelligent person does in the height of a pandemic, they say, "What do? You go to Florida."
Yes. The basement of the United States.
You're just like, what?
Yes.
They don't know how to put a mask on their face? Yeah, count me in, man. I'm down.
Jeez, I know.
But yeah, we did in fact go to Florida, and we played it as safe as we could. Like I was just shy of a biohazard suit for the airport.
Yeah.
And I mean, we pretty much put those masks on right away and just wore them pretty much until we got in the rental car, and that was just how that was. And then we spent the week. We didn't actually really eat out anywhere. We just would get food and pick it up, and that was that. And, my sister-in-law, we'd send her in because that's just how it works when you're the youngest. I'm sorry.
You volunteered for this.
Yeah, sorry, I would go, but there's a, plague.
Yeah,
but,
plague. You can take it. You'll survive it.
Go get my fish sandwich, please.
Yes.
So my mercury levels are through the roof because I ate seafood all week, but... what a way to go.
Out the rest of the year.
And the good news is I can tell you the temperature.
Yeah, I know. You always could anyways.
But, so there's that. So, of course, we had to have delays, and then just with, quarantine protocol. And
You didn't have any of those things on the flight that they see in the news where somebody's being unruly and refusing to comply?
I was more afraid of that than I was the pandemic. In all seriousness, I was like, please don't have any crazies on this other than me.
Yeah, I know. You'd rather be the only crazy.
Yeah, I would like to be the craziest one on this flight, please.
Yeah, please and thank you.
I always laugh when I'm sitting in the exit row and they come by and they're like, in the event of emergency, will you be able to open the door? I'm like, are you kidding me? I'll use that guy in row B to open the door. I am getting through that fucking door.
Yes. Your name for the next hour will be battering ram, just so you know.
Trust me when I say I'm getting that door open.
Yes. Followed by flotation device.
But yeah, he serves two purposes. What can I say?
Yeah, I
know. But yeah, luckily they were completely uneventful, and that was good. And the trip itself was absolutely fantastic. But I wanted to bring that up not because to talk about the vacation. But to talk about the fact that, exactly, because I went on vacation. Yeah.
I got to take care of cat.
Seriously, it's been like 2 years since I've seen the ocean, folks, and it was so overdue. I missed it. I think it missed me. It kept waving.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking care of all the Kevin jokes on this one. I'm nailing them.
Jeez.
Anyway, when I came back, we talked about quarantine kind of thing. Like, what should you do? So, first thing I did was I licked all the door handles in my house. I just figured that was good practice. But,
yeah, definitely.
I
did it while you were away.
It's fantastic. It's just safety first.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring that up because I've had quite a few events in my life where somebody doesn't feel comfortable because, again, there's a fucking plague going on.
Yes.
And somebody doesn't feel comfortable, and so they say, I don't want to attend, or, can you stay 60 feet away from me? 6 isn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I'd like to, in this case, waiting a certain amount of time before we saw each other.
Yeah.
And you know me. You know me all too well. Hell, fans, you know me. I will make fun of you at the drop of a dime. I don't need a reason.
Yeah, don't need a reason.
I'll make fun of anybody for pretty much nothing at all. That said, that kind of thing, you're literally talking about not just your health, your potential life. So if someone feels even the slightest bit uncomfortable in any of these situations, I want to say, like, don't do it. Do whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, this is not something to fuck around with.
Yeah.
And as far as, people mocking you, just one, who the hell cares? But, fuck them. Seriously, this is your life. And it's one of those things. If you're wrong, no harm, no foul, okay, so you sequestered yourself for some extra time. Not the end of the world. But, if you didn't do it and turns out you were right,
yeah,
you're literally potentially talking about your life. So it's one of those things that I think it's a real social issue right now. I think, a lot of listeners, I feel like are looking through. You may know somebody in this situation, or you yourself may be in this situation.
There's not enough after-school specials. Welcome.
But if you're in that situation, not that I have any authority on anything, I just wanted to call that out, though, that in my mind, you do whatever you're comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable with it, don't go somewhere. Don't, bow out. And the people around you will, I like to believe they'll understand, but if they won't, I mean, fuck them. Really, seriously. It's your life we're talking about. It's not, it's something that you toy around with, which, I'll jump right into that social issue of, like, mask mandates at schools. If you don't think, this is a crazy world we live in, if you don't think your child should have to wear a mask, again, during a plague, first of all, I think CPS should be called. That's just my take on it.
Yeah.
Like, we've got a problem there. But aside from that, if society is so far gone, and we really are, that we're making stipulations for people that don't want to fuck themselves, the people around them, then, I'm obviously okay with that as I can be. You don't want to put a mask on your kid, okay. Who the hell am I to say? I don't have kids anyway. Yeah. But I think it's utterly foolish. I think it's tragic, quite frankly. But be that as it may. But when your kid's going to a public institution where my kid might be, my fictitious kid, he needs to wear a mask. Why? I don't give a fuck about your kid. I care about mine. I'll tell you flat out. I care about mine. And the fact that you're anti-mask, or great, be anti-mask in your home. And if you don't like that situation, then I think it's perfectly within everyone's right to say that kid without the mask either wears the mask or does not attend that school.
Yep.
And, I'll use the analogy I hear the most often. I could drink all day and say, you know what, I love to drive, and I'm good with that. And it's a shame you're not.
Hmm.
But you know what? There's actually laws. I'm not allowed to do that. Why is that? Because I'm putting everyone else's life at risk.
Yeah.
It's the same goddamn thing. So I just don't get it. If I want to drink and I want to fall over my house and pretend I'm driving and walk into walls, which I'm entirely done. But just be that as it may. That's my right. I can do that.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting harmed.
Right.
Trust me, the wall won.
Yeah.
But the minute I get behind the wheel and I go on the road, we got a problem.
I fought the wall and the wall won.
Exactly. Yeah, seriously. Kick my ass too.
Sorry.
Yep. That's awesome. Well done, buddy.
I could just in my head, I had to get it out.
It's reversal day.
Yeah,
You're
I know.
making the music jokes. I'm making the Kevin ones.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, now that we've started with the light,
Yeah, the light humor.
But what
stuff.
are your thoughts on all that, other than
Me? I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is your turn to go. Yeah. I am just so impressed with all the signs on the highway that says, I'm pro-choice, stop the vaccine. And I find it the most hilarious thing. So I see a joke on the way to work every day.
I'm pro-choice.
Stopthevaccine.org. Not that I'm advertising for another website here. And I think it's hilarious.
I'm pro-choice. Okay, now when they say pro-choice, they don't mean what I think when I...
No, not what it's meant for ever.
Okay.
They have co-opted it. And
I'm pro-choice.
so the group of people that were never pro-choice are now pro-choice for the oddest thing of killing other people.
And these are the same geniuses that are
Yeah.
like, I'm not taking the vaccine because it's not safe. And for the record, I don't trust the government. I don't trust the CDC, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But likewise, I'm playing the odds. And this is what they call the smart money.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, there's people that are like, I don't trust the CDC so much. I'm not going to take the toxins they want to inject in me. So let me take some horse dewormer
Yeah.
because America.
Reasons.
Like, what the... Seriously, what in the actual fuck? I mean, what?
What in the actual fuck? I agree.
Like, I'm trying to follow this reason, but
They're
then they get sick and they go to the hospital.
Yeah.
But wait, you don't trust these people.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. So when you were on your last breath, then you finally go.
And
So you trust them in the end.
I keep reading the same story over and over, and I'm going to hell, folks. I hate to admit it, but it's not that I'm reveling in this, but I keep reading the anti-vaxxer who realizes when they're about to be intubated that they might have been wrong. And oh my God, I was wrong about that. And then they die.
Mm.
And it's not that I'm rejoicing in it. I'm really not. But they're like expressions like you make your bed and then you lie in it. These things, like, I'm sorry, you have no one to blame but yourself. So, vaccine mandates. People are losing their mind. My freedom's being taken from me. No, it's not. If you attended a school, you have vaccines. You have been vaccinated. This is a different vaccine. But the requirements for vaccine are as old as this country. So to say, it's unconstitutional. Like, seriously, have you read the Constitution? Because clearly not. But it's lunacy out there, and it's getting crazier. I just don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, even if any of that stuff is true, like there's a microchip or whatever, they're going to track you. I'm like, go ahead. I live in a 2-mile radius. My whole life is in 2-mile radius. They're not finding anything new about me.
I was going to say, with them tracking me, at this point, they can eyeball it. They don't even need...
They look out their window.
You're wasting a chip.
Yeah. They're not going to spend that much money to track every American.
I'm more like a family circus.
Yeah, you just bounce around in a frame. Yeah.
It's just a small little circle, and there's various footprints throughout.
Yeah, basically. That's my whole life, too. So, yeah, all these vaccines, they've been saving lives for all these years since, these epidemics and mumps and, polio vaccines. I mean, they are helping, not hurting.
Well, I had somebody ask me, in all seriousness, they said, Sean, well, first, did you get it? I'm like, absolutely. I wasn't the first in line. I waited a while.
Yeah, I did elbow a few people, but I got there.
Well, I didn't mean day of either. I waited some time before, once people start getting it, and then just to make sure.
Yeah, I was on like Group B.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was able to get in fairly early.
Yeah, and I did get in earlier than the average bear, but still, by then there'd been a big enough test, so to speak, where you knew it was stable.
Yeah.
And they asked me, they said, you think things through. You don't necessarily, you're not the most trusting soul. Are you getting it? Do you think it's safe? And I'm like, dude, one, I already got it. And I'm like, two, it's the best shot you got, and even then people are, well, it doesn't keep you safe. No, it's basically, the way I look at it is this: the vaccine's not going to keep you from catching COVID, but it may keep you alive if you do. That's basically the big difference. So it's just playing the odds, folks, and increasing your odds. And then I give them the third reason of, how do you expect to be a part of the class action suit in 20 years if you don't get the vaccine? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I got tons of emails all the time.
Yeah, it's just, I don't want to invite you to my yacht, and you can't invite me to yours. It's just, it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, I know. Come on, you got to participate if you're going to get the money.
But seriously, folks, man, if you, I'll be honest, if you're listening to the show at the date that we actually post this thing, and you haven't gotten vaccinated, like, seriously, you gotta like, learn to think. I don't mean to be rude, but, like, dude, seriously, it's not safe. And if anybody is taking any equine medicine of any kind, you shouldn't. The fact that requires saying is a problem to me.
Can't you, like, point sunlight into you just to solve it? I just want to try to figure this out.
Exactly. Like, bleach kills COVID. Well, yeah, it does.
And every living cell next to it.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, like, it sure does, but you got other problems.
Yeah.
Man, it's amazing. So, man,
this world is weird.
I really did not even mean to talk politics, but boy, one thing begets another, and I'm seriously, folks, I'm going to applaud me. I am barely reading the news. Barely.
I've been trying to avoid the news. I know nothing about Nicki Minaj. Thank God.
I don't either.
Yeah. Somebody asked me about her the other day. I'm like, I don't know who she is.
Yeah, I don't know what Nicki Minaj is. I've heard the name, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know who she is. Apparently, she's famous in some way, and she posted some crap, but I don't even not really pay attention to what she did.
I will scroll through the headlines, and I literally don't have the heart to click on anything. Like, I'm pretty certain the recent headlines are nothing new. I mean, it's like Mitch McConnell's a giant douchebag. Ooh,
well, we knew.
Alert! Alert! Wow.
Yeah, that's not in my alerts,
Marjorie Taylor Greene's out of her effing mind.
Yeah, you can't put those alerts. Your phone just go crazy, like her.
I did read one. I couldn't help it. Freaking Boebert, whatever the fucking that crazy Colorado chick is.
Oh yeah.
That's pro-gun, anti-intelligence. She was alluding to the fact that she was alluding to the QAnon theory that, certain people are... I mean, have you read the QAnon theory?
No, I try not to.
It's basically...
I don't want that to get in my brain.
I'm going to summarize it best I can. I haven't read it thoroughly, but it's basically the premise that... And I wish I was making this up.
Yeah.
That there's a cabal within the Democratic side of or just upper echelon, I guess. And people like Hillary Clinton and Biden are secretly pedophiles who not only are pedophiles, they also sacrifice the children to drink their blood and eat their organs and whatnot to get some chemical or another that they actually have a name for. And I'm not certain the reasons. And Donald Trump's trying to stop this cabal.
Oh, so because it's even too crazy
Donald
for
Trump's
him.
known for, being a protector of the community. He's just, his whole life, in fact, he's looked out for just everyone around him. Oh, wait a second.
Wait a
No.
I thought it wasn't a Twilight Zone.
What's wrong with you people? Seriously, like, I'm not making this shit up either. That's how crazy it is. So, Boebert there made a reference to Biden being a pedophile recently when attending some Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts of America function. And, I mean, seriously, these people, if you support Lauren Boebert and you're listening, you're so depraved, I seriously don't even have words for it anymore. What the fuck is wrong with you people? And this woman is literally married to somebody who has been arrested for indecent exposure for pulling a schlong out at a bowling alley with two girls there that may or may not have been underage, I don't know. But either way, Lauren is actually there for that event. And so it's not a whataboutism in the sense that, like, you of all people shouldn't be saying anything. Because I think she found my loophole. You can live in a glass house if you throw rocks if all your windows are already broken. But it's seriously, I go back to kind of point A. What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, have we really slipped that far down that any of these people represent you? If that's what represents you, I seriously, like, you got to question yourself in the sense that, am I a deplorable human being? Because you may very well be. Yeah. They care for no one but themselves. They have no sense of community. They have no sense of the oaths that have been taken. That they're there to represent the people. They're there for the people of the Commonwealth. There's just none of that. There's just this toxicity of ignorance, quite frankly. Just like, I don't want to believe anybody that might have read a book. I want to go with my gut. And then they'll put God into the equation, and that's just the be-all. That's like the, no pun intended, that is the trump card.
Yeah. And they're never right the way they invoked it either. It's they just pick and choose.
They better pray they're wrong,
to their ways.
Because if they do meet their God's going to be pissed. Yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, I'm really kicked the habit, though. I mean, I'm telling you, the 12 steps are working for me because I just don't want to read it anymore. Yeah. I'm just completely fed up. And I'll be completely frank, too, when I say I don't even like to read about the Democrats anymore either, because you guys are idiots. And you keep, at this point, the Democrat-GOP relationship is Lucy with the football to Charlie Brown. I don't know how many fucking times you're going to try to kick Nancy Pelosi, but they're going to pull the fucking ball again. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many times we got to go through this. But, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So I've given up on everybody.
Agreed.
That said, occasionally they have like a cute animal story or something nice like that. So it's good to stay on top of the news.
Yeah, sometimes there's something nice.
The weather report's good.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
I'm a fan. But anyway, well, anything before we get into the what are you section? Anything top of mind for you, buddy?
Top of mind. Oh, I've had a concussion recently.
There you go. That is quite literally top of mind.
Top of mind. Yeah, I was a dumbass. I have a light fixture in my kitchen it's pretty sizable. It holds a couple U-bend fluorescent lights, and it broke. And I thought it was a fuse, wasn't a fuse. I thought it was a light bulb, wasn't a light bulb, and I shattered a light bulb. That's a long story. But it turned out to be the ballast. And I'm like, well, I got to replace the ballast. I've never done it before. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I ordered a ballast online. So I went to take this thing down. I'm like, my father-in-law helped me put it up. I'm like, let me start taking it out. I took some screws down. And that thing came down a little bit. I'm like, why isn't it coming down? So I got higher in the ladder to see if I can see how it was hooked. And apparently, long story short, the only thing holding at that point, unbeknownst to me, because I couldn't see, was the ground wire.
Yep.
Snapped.
Yep.
Right in the forehead. I got a mark right here.
Yep.
I had a big mark for a while.
Yeah, you did.
And that thing went collapsing, bent up. I had to hammer it back into shape because it's basically sheet metal.
Yeah.
So I had to hammer it out. But yeah,
that's fantastic.
I had the symptoms of concussion for a while, and I Googled it, so I didn't go to the doctor.
Of course.
So
I love your home. I got this.
I got this.
Google, what do you do when your head is splitting because you just knocked yourself with a light? Yeah, what exactly did you Google? How do you know if you have a concussion?
Like I said, when to go to the hospital. And they said if you're confused, and I'm like, I'm that all the time. That's not any help.
Exactly.
And then if you have amnesia, and I don't remember.
That's fantastic.
So I didn't go.
It's great.
Yeah, I didn't go. And it took about a week for me to start feeling normal again.
I personally think when to go to the hospital is whenever you want to Google, when do you go to the hospital?
When to go to the, I didn't go.
I think that is the proper time. The time when you ask yourself, should I go to the hospital?
I was proud of myself because, well, one, I wasn't proud of myself in the beginning because after I took the light fixture down, then I was like, I had to solve the issue because I always do work when the wife's gone because I just feel it's safer. Apparently not, but I just figured I can just do it by myself and take care of it. Then I got a situation where now I got to put it back up.
Yeah.
And I realized after I took it down is that using butterfly bolts, and so I couldn't put it back up. It was literally impossible.
No way to hold it while you did the bolts?
No way to hold it because the bolts that's in the attic, you can't reattach them. You need new bolts.
Yeah.
Jam them up in there. So I was trying to get them, hold it up and put the wires through and wire it up. And I was like, my shoulders are killing me. I'm on the ladder. I'm like, I literally need another arm And I'm like, I gotta solve this. I gotta solve this on my own. So I went to Home Depot, and I got a longer carriage screws that originally came with it, with butterfly screws.
Okay.
And put it through 2 sides, popped it in the holes, and it was strong enough to hold it.
Oh, nice.
Ran the wires through, take the other 2, pop it through. So I had about 1.5 inches because I got longer carriage bolts.
Okay, yeah.
Screwed it up.
Nice.
So I solved that bad boy.
Look at you.
Yeah.
The great MacGyver.
Yeah, I know. Whew, and it turned on and the house didn't burn down.
Yeah. So you instead of seeing light immediately, you went for stars.
Yeah.
But, that's one way to do it. That's why I hate doing shit around the house, because
I'm no good at it.
even if I get it done correctly, there's blood involved.
Yeah.
And there's pain.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah, the wife was saying, why is there like red all over the light switches? And I'm like, I don't know. It's probably just jam or something or ketchup.
Exactly. It happens.
It's probably my blood. I haven't told her.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, nothing to say, because I was bleeding pretty good that day.
Your poor wife, man. She's just so used to weird shit being on your walls for no reason.
It happens. It happens.
It's awesome.
So that's my story, my concussion.
Wow. Yeah, you sent me a picture right afterwards, and it was
yeah,
it was a gash. It looked like you caught it well.
Yeah, it was, and it hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that.
Yeah. So I did see stars.
Head wounds are the worst too, because they don't stop bleeding. They just don't. I know this because if you shave your head too quickly, you pretty much always cut yourself, and I shaved my head too quickly. Yeah. So there's that.
Yep. So that's really been my life, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that had you down for a while.
That had me down for about a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So we've just been quarantining, and that's about it. Nothing.
And then I purchased that 3D printer, and I've been 3D printing the silliest of things.
Yep. Whatever you can.
Whatever I can.
To be expected.
I print a lot of little things. Like somebody at work requires a bunch of kittens, so I 3D print some little cats.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, so useful stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I figured the first couple. I think you said it comes in spools. The material.
Big old spool.
I would strongly suspect your first, maybe even half a dozen, are just going to be complete crap.
It is.
But that's how it works.
Yeah, my first print was a boat.
You need a boat. All right. Well, without further ado, then.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. Actually, before I get into this, if anybody out there actually wants to contact us, talk to us in any way, shape, or form, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, please.
Well, how would they do that?
Show ideas, whatever. Yeah, head over to tootcast.net, the website, or email us at tootcast.net. And
that's awesome.
And
we'll get back to you.
Yes, we will.
We'll definitely talk to you.
We have posted many ideas and thoughts and things from our listeners before.
I'll be honest. I've been horrible about the Facebook. I don't post much there because I have an aversion to Facebook. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But the email I check regularly.
Yeah.
So
we do get emails.
We do.
So.
And I do respond. So that said, then, what are you watching, buddy? What have you been watching lately?
What am I watching? Oh, you've been watching now finally. Ted Lasso.
Nice.
Oh, I love that show.
That's fantastic. That's actually the first one I wrote down. Is the season 2 of it?
Season 2. I'm about halfway through season 2 of Ted Lasso.
So great.
But yeah, I was so happy because I watch the late night shows. Like 2 weeks after because I never watch them live. I watch them on YouTube later on.
Okay. Yeah.
And all the cast put on there right before they went to the Emmys, and I'm so happy. I'm happy for them that they all got Emmys. All
That's
the main cast got Emmys.
It's just a stellar show.
Yeah, it's a great show. Jason Sudeikis. I just like, because he talked about because a lot of his characters some of it based on the coach he actually had.
Okay.
And he goes, "Hey, Sudeikis." He goes, "Why are you saying it like that?" He goes, "Because you got no D."
Nice.
I'm like, oh, that's pretty awesome.
That's
you
awesome.
would never say his name right because of that. Because you got no D.
You got no D.
Got no D. So I know, I just think it's a great show, and it makes me want to. You never see uplifting shows anymore.
As I said earlier when we were talking about it before the show, and I just said, it teaches you how to be kind.
Yeah.
And I could use the instruction.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes it's a learned behavior,
Although they're turning Nathan there, the
Nate the Great.
Yeah, Nate the Great. They're turning him into a douche this season.
Well, he needs to be put in his place, and I think he will. I think he'll come back.
I know he will. This kind of show, he absolutely will.
Yeah,
but I always hate that.
Yeah. Well, he did get too big for his britches. Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
Too big for his britches.
I think this.
Wow.
I don't even know what that means.
I know what age group we're targeting.
Yeah, I know. You're too big for his britches.
I mean, it's just wow.
Yeah.
Been a while, buddy.
Yeah, I think the show does have like a secondary storyline where they try to teach humility and stuff like that. So I think that's what that storyline is.
Yeah, exactly.
Teach him humility because you need that in the show. But yeah, Roy Kent.
Roy Kent, man.
Yeah, he is awesome. I love that I learned that he was one of the writers of the show. And he just begged to be this. After he wrote the whole first season, he goes, "Please let me be." Roy Kent.
I think he's fantastic at it. Yeah, I think he's. It blows my mind that he wrote it because he's fantastic.
He goes, "I get paid to swear in front of children." It's great.
Have you seen him on the show yet? Has he started doing the show? If you're halfway in, he should have started doing that.
Oh yeah, he did the talk show where he just like, yeah,
where he's just like angry as shit. Like,
yeah, just angry. He just like putting down everybody.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, Roy.
Yeah, exactly. It just kills me. But great show.
Great show.
Yeah, I love pretty much everyone in it, which is, you know me. I don't like any shows at all, and even when I do, I'm like, oh, I like this one, maybe two people. Yeah. I pretty much like everybody in that.
I like the Game of Thrones chick. She's pretty awesome.
Who's the Game of Thrones chick?
The main owner of the team.
She was in Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, she was. She was.
Shame.
Yeah, Shame. Yeah,
Shame.
I do. She's amazing. Actually, I love that woman. I agree. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they said that behind the scenes, they dig the hell out of each other. They all like each other in real life.
Nice.
They're just
I
like
could see that.
Enjoying life. They pretty much live in London, you know.
The model girl in that laughs through her nose, and it makes me laugh when she laughs like that.
Yeah.
So it's just funny. I do not find her remotely attractive. I think she's too young.
Yeah, no, I don't find her attractive, but I don't know. I like her personality.
Oh, she kills me.
Yeah,
I think she's great. I think she's great, but not of this world. Or not in this lifetime for me.
Yeah, no. I like the Beard guy. They just go,
Beard is fucking great. Coach Beard.
Coach Beard.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, everything about them is...
The fans in the bar, love them even.
Yeah.
Like, I love everybody in the show. It's just, it's great. The bar, the owner of the bar, she's wonderful. Like, everybody in that show is great. So, Ted Lasso, man.
Fun
we recommend it.
Yeah, I recommend. So
this show
I'm
brought
up to
you by Ted Lasso.
I know. And yeah, I would say now it's up to like 30% of what I recommend to Sean that he likes. I think it's getting up there.
Yeah.
You know? It's not 50 yet.
You did recommend Ted Lasso, but you did definitely earn points for that because it is fantastic.
Another show I love a lot is What We Do in the Shadows, which is basically done by Jermaine of the Flight of the Conchords.
Okay.
He was in the movie version, and he pretty much, Tai Waititi, whatever his name is, he helped create the show in the movie, but he's off doing movies and stuff. So it's pretty much Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords is doing the show.
Okay.
He's not acting in it. Well, he was in one episode, but he's pretty much the director, producer, and the show was hilarious. And they had a great episode with Mark Hamill that I was laughing so loud.
Oh, that's great.
It was hysterical. And it's just like, I like the formula of like The Office and Parks and Rec, but with vampires.
Okay.
Just interviewing vampires and what their daily lives.
We tried Parks and Rec, but we never made it to season 2, which you said we need to. So we might go back to that at some point.
Yeah, the history of Parks and Rec is that when they did Parks and Rec, they tried to emulate The Office too much.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then Amy Poehler is like, yeah, I don't want to be, basically an emulation of that. I want to be a different character. So if you see season 2, I'd say season 2 through 4 is like its own show.
Yeah.
And it's really good when they realize that Ron Swanson was a riot, and they really did a good job. And then after that, the show's still good, but it becomes a different show. It's a little more of a sitcom after that.
We'll probably talk about it in a few episodes, but the Ron Swanson doing the... I'm going to drink whiskey in front of the fire. God damn. For 4 hours. Like, it's effing genius.
Yes.
That is just amazing.
And he talks like that in the show, too. He's a riot.
And he's like a master woodsman.
In real life.
Master craftsman.
He was making canoes and woodworking before the show even started. So what he does in the show, he
it's
already
amazing,
did.
isn't it?
Yeah. So I just like that. And he goes, and he makes jokes like, any dog smaller than this is basically a cat and doesn't matter.
No, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Awesome.
And the show has some great moments. But I would say after season 4, because luckily it's only like 6 or 7 seasons and it's not terribly long.
Yeah.
They needed to stop. They were done.
Yeah.
They were done. They're not like Community. Community had one good season. The second season was kind of mediocre, and the rest were complete garbage. Just a pile of steaming garbage.
You know what we watch? I never remember anyone's name. But when we have nothing to watch and we have no idea what to do, we'll just throw stand-up on.
Oh, yeah.
And, goddamn, stand-up's great.
Charlize likes, what's his name? What's that guy that...
This thing. I have no idea.
Yeah, this thing. Who's the bald comedian?
Howie Mandel.
No, the one that was in Star
Gallagher.
Wars. Yeah, the one that was in Mandalorian. And
William Burr.
yeah, Bill Burr. Charlize loves
Why I called
Bill.
him William.
Yeah, William Burr.
William Burr. I'm being
Yeah,
formal.
William Burr. I don't know him that well. It's William.
Oh, that's great.
The guy's a crotchety old man who hates everything. Charlize loves him.
Explains why she likes me.
Yeah, I know, because you are kind of a Bill Burr. He's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm hilarious, but I'm definitely crotchety.
Yeah, well, half of
I'm
it.
halfway there. Yeah.
Halfway there, but yeah. So on Netflix, if you watch any Bill Burr stand-up, they're good. Those are good stand-ups to watch.
Okay.
All of them are good. So we watch a bunch of those, and they're
Nice.
really good stand-ups. I recommend that. And then I watch the Louis C.K. ones because I think he's funny, even though he's weird.
I know what we watched
Yeah.
before Ted Lasso was driving me nuts.
What?
We watched a documentary on this pyramid scheme, basically, that was selling cosmetics, and I forget what it was. It was something
Mary
La
Kay
or
or-
Lulu.
yeah.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
But, it was as pyramid scheme as you
Yeah.
get. And,
Yeah.
it's funny because, when they described it the first time, I'm like, oh, you mean a pyramid scheme?
Yeah.
And, it was the funniest thing because somehow they're still in business. It was like an unfinished documentary because they
Yeah.
talked about all the shady shit going down.
Yeah.
And just how hard it is to actually make a buck. And they're, of course, they're like rent-a-center people, feeding on people that are down on their luck.
Yep.
And not for nothing, I don't know if I've ever talked about rent-a-center type places. I honestly think we should blow them all up. They're scum of the earth.
I worked at one.
Scum of the earth. You're
Yeah.
feeding on people that are down on their luck, enticing them with, hey, you need that new sofa. They've kind of got no choice usually if they're going that route. And then they're going to pay 10 times what that sofa is worth.
Yeah.
I understand making a buck. I understand capitalism, but I also understand the definition of douchebaggery. And holy shit. But, yeah. So I've somehow lost where I was going with this because I got so worked up over freaking Rent-A-Center.
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, yeah, we watched it. Thank you. We watched a documentary on that. See, you do more than say yeah.
Oh yeah, I also pay attention. I always thought I was a good listener too. I think that's somebody one time said I was a terrible listener.
What?
And, exactly. But then I was like, how do you become a good listener? And I actually read how to be a good listener.
I'm guessing you listen.
It sounds easy. It isn't.
It's not. I agree.
Not.
I agree.
Not.
Well, it's a big difference. A lot of management training, and I'll come back to that documentary.
Yeah.
A lot of management training talks about the difference between waiting to speak and listening.
Oh yeah, and it's harder nowadays because of cell phones. Because most people aren't listening at all; they're just surfing the web while they're talking to you. And
I just
hate
want to
that.
keep saying what. Like every time you say somebody's not listening, my default reaction is what?
Yeah, he's just waiting to say what.
What? Yeah.
What?
Say what again?
Say what again? That was a joke in Parks and Rec because he's like, "Can I get a what?" And you hear somebody go, "What?" And that what? He goes, "Thank you. Okay, we're ready."
That's fantastic. All right, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
So this documentary was like the half-finished documentary because they talk all about the bad shit that happened to these people that actually did a great job, worked their asses off to try and sell the Mary Kay or Lulala, whatever the fuck it was. The scam. And then they talked about the owners and clearly scum of the earth. Like, no doubt about it. Like, they're just clearly taking advantage of people. And they're doing it under the guise of being, good Samaritans. And then there was never the part about how they got arrested and went to prison.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
they just ended the documentary. They're like, yep, just thought you might want to know about that. And I'm like,
want to know.
are you kidding? Like, where's the rest of it? Where's
Yeah.
the part where they go to jail and the owners are arrested and
Yeah.
they never saw this coming? And turns out you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, it was a weird documentary. I
Well,
have
that's
no idea
basically
what the
John
name of it
Oliver's
was.
show, right? He talks about all the douchebaggery.
Yeah, he does. I haven't watched him in a while, actually, but I celebrate the whole catalog.
I do celebrate him, but I've actually been slowing down watching John Oliver because I've been just too depressed, and his show doesn't lift me up.
No,
There's
it's
nothing
once
that-
again, it's the news.
Yeah, it's nothing happy about his show.
Everybody's just angry, ignorant, and they're angry that you're not ignorant.
Yeah.
It's just, and I know I still told the story of the king of the well and the well on this show on one of these, and I'm telling you, God damn, that well water's looking better every day. I just don't know how you drink it.
Take the poison.
Pretty much. Well, Mickles and I are now currently watching something most of America is watching, something called the Squid Game.
Yeah, I
and
haven't
that
heard
is
of it.
a Korean show that is so far. I gotta say, I'm curious to see where they go with it, and I'll be honest, the potential for this all to suck is pretty high, but it's really unique, a unique
Hmm.
idea, violent and graphic, and I absolutely love watching it
Mm.
because it's a unique story. That alone, you get props,
Mm.
even if they don't land the plane properly. They're getting props just for creativity. Um, it is Korean with English dubbing over it. So it's
Yeah.
not the voices are off, but the dialogue is so not American. It tickles my funny bone. It just delights me. They say things. It's not that it's grammatically incorrect either, but they say things in a way we never would. Where you hear a statement and you're like, "There's no American anywhere that would ever put those words in that order to say that." Um, and then there's the cultural differences, and I am delighted by them. For example, in one episode, they go into a hotel complex and they're walking by all the apartments, and they're walking funny. They're like kind of dodging and weaving, and I'm like, why is this? And then they pan out, and I see they're walking around all the shoes that are outside the doors because that's a cultural thing,
Yeah.
presumably in
Yeah,
Korea.
because
They take their shoes
the
off
shoes don't go in buildings. Yeah.
and they stay outside the hallway, which is funny because I thought about it and I'm like, that's so not American because even if we did say, I'm never going to wear shoes in this house, we would keep the shoes on the inside
Yeah,
of the door
on a
because we
rack
trust
or
no one.
yeah, exactly.
And it's those things that the cultural differences that fascinate me.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, sometimes I do feel astute though because I'm like, wow, did you see that to Mickles? And she's like, see what? I'm like, okay, rewind it. I'm like, now don't look at the characters. Just ignore them. Look at the scene. Pay attention to the hallway. And she's like, what am I looking at? And we played through it. She didn't see them. And I'm like, the shoes. And so we played again. She's like, oh, yeah, the shoes everywhere. And I mean, when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere.
Yeah. Just a sea of shoes.
Pretty much. And that kind of stuff blows my mind. So I definitely recommend Squid Game. I think you'd like it.
I do like Korean films and TV because that Parasite was Korean. That
I never
movie.
actually watched it. I just know of it.
Oh, I recommend it.
No?
It's
That won all sorts of awards. People liked it.
It's wow. It's
I thought I was doing the live action reenactment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. The thing was, it's definitely they redid it. They re-released it in black and white for some reason to add a little more like weirdness to it. But it's a good movie. It definitely takes turns you don't expect.
Okay,
So,
I like it.
And yeah, it's also subtitled. So,
I like to be entertained.
yeah, so I recommend Parasite. It deserved its kudos that I got.
Nice.
Definitely.
Well, I'll get back with everyone on how Squid Game goes because we're only a couple episodes in, but loving it. Although I gotta say, the Squid Game's funny. Every single person in that is pretty much a douchebag, except for the old man.
Yeah.
But everyone else is pretty much a douchebag. Like the protagonist is a douchebag.
Mm.
So it's interesting. You watch anything else?
No, I think that's it. I mean, lately I've been getting home tired, and the show I turned on right now is I'm actually watching Parks and Rec the second time.
Oh, okay, that's
So,
funny.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that, and I just haven't talked about it.
Yep, and I'm watching the second time, and that's why I have a fresh understanding of what seasons are what, you know.
Dude. I'm not kidding. This is what you have to look forward to, kids. The past few Friday nights, I get to Friday, and I'm like, oh, thank God I'm to Friday.
Yeah.
And I go to bed at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm just like, I'm drained. I just need to, I need the time to reboot.
I know.
And I'm like, yay, Friday, I want to party. I'm going to bed.
Oh, man, I'm so working for the weekend. I tell you, just so I can sleep.
It's just crazy. Yeah. So yeah, something to look forward to. Well, I think I know the answer to this, but
Yes.
what have you been playing lately, buddy?
Oh, I've been playing a game called Diablo 3. Because the last time we had the show, we played Diablo 3, and
That's
then
fantastic.
then we stopped playing that. Then we played Path of Exile.
Which, yeah, I don't know if we ever talked about that. It's basically another Diablo game.
Yeah, it's a Diablo clone. Yeah, basically.
It's
on
fantastic.
steroids.
I mean, yeah, it is on steroids. It's a free game. You can spend money on it. We have.
Yeah.
I spent more than you.
You spent more than me, but now I realize you can actually spend money and actually get something useful. I finally had to figure that out.
Yeah,
and I haven't even reaped the rewards of that yet because I stopped playing.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be back to that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game's amazing, and when I say it's complicated,
Yeah.
I mean, the layers to that game it's lunacy. And I got to admit, I love that.
Yeah.
I don't say that like it's a bad thing, but it's complicated.
It's a free game that I know what, the last sale really encouraged me to actually spend money on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a decent price.
I wouldn't have bought them if they weren't on sale.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely, because I spent like, what, $50 or something like that? I forget what I spent. Well, it wasn't terrible. Just get a whole bunch of tabs and stash tabs.
I spent another 40, but I'd spent 20 years earlier because I've been playing that game on and off for years.
Yeah. So the game's worth playing. It's especially being free. You know, I do like it.
I've spent $60 in a couple of years on that free game, and there's no question I've gotten my money's worth as far as entertainment value goes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
I mean, the amount of time I've sunk into that for $60. I mean, there's nothing that's gonna. Movies cost more than that.
Yeah.
So.
And then the last game I'm playing is Diablo 2 Resurrected, and which is you've always talked about it. You and I played it once, but I think it was offline. We just cruised through the game.
We cheated like hell.
Yeah, so I don't remember anything about it. So I gotta tell you, we played because Diablo 2 is. You can tell you need to play the game completely 3 times.
Yep.
And then get kind of, I don't know, end game scenario at that point. But, I don't remember a thing from it. Somehow I missed Diablo 2 when it came out. I don't know. I got to look to see what came out in the year 2000 and what I was playing.
Unreal Tournament and...
I was definitely playing that.
I want to say that came out around that time, too.
Yeah, there must have been something else that distracted me because I played the first Diablo when it came out.
Yeah.
But I didn't play the second one. Never owned it. And never played it.
I'm pretty certain I actually bought that when it came out.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I was already into it by then.
But I wasn't a Blizzard fan. I think back then I was probably more of a BioWare RPG kind of person, because I think they were still existing back then.
I was definitely into Diablo. Hooked me the first time I played that.
Bethesda wouldn't have been out yet.
No, Bethesda yet.
Not yet.
Well, actually, I mean, yes, but it would have been like Arena, maybe.
Yeah.
Not even Daggerfall, I don't think. Maybe Daggerfall.
No, the first one I played was Oblivion, so I didn't play to was that the fourth one?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't even play it till then. Yeah, that's the fourth one, so Skyrim's 5. Yeah, so the fourth one is the first Elder Scrolls game I played, which I do adore. I like that game a lot, and I wish it would remaster that. That would be great to remaster, because it was a pretty game, but they need to remaster it to... They need to remaster... This is sacrilege. They need to remaster Skyrim properly.
Yeah, well, I mean, not for nothing, though. I mean, at this point, don't they need to make a new game?
They do, but Skyrim is such a good game, and they did... It's such a genius game, and modding makes it better, but... Somehow they're popular, even though their fighting is like, you know, it's just like, it never was good in a lot of ways.
I think they fixed this, but this made me laugh. The pictures of it. There was a bucket trick for, apparently the way the stealing mechanism worked is it only counted as stealing if they saw you take it.
Oh.
So what they'd do is they'd grab a bucket and they'd go into the shop and they'd put it on the NPC's head. And the NPC just wouldn't care. So you just had this NPC with a bucket on their head. Yeah. And now they couldn't see.
Yeah.
So then they'd just take everything. And then if they wanted, they'd take the bucket off and sell them. All the stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's how you win money. Yeah, that reminds me. There's a movie out. I think it's called Fall Guy or Free Guy. Free Guy. Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, I want to see it because it's the plot of it is like this guy realizes he's an NPC in a video game. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even know what the plot was. But it's Ryan Reynolds, and I mean, let's face it, Ryan Reynolds doesn't really act. He plays the shit out of Ryan Reynolds, and we all love it.
And I want to see him pretending he's a video game character.
Absolutely. Well, I pretty much want to see Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. So it's great.
I'm looking forward to that. So I hopefully I'll be watching that soon. I want to watch that one. It's out now.
I've not played anything other than those 2 games, though, Path of Exile, Diablo 2. I did play a little bit of Dying Light, and I'd like to go back to that, which is basically zombie, run around, kill zombies, which never gets old. But I haven't tested it all. Just those 2.
There was a sale the other day on a game on a wish list on Steam called Code Vein, and it's like $14 now, so it's finally kind of my range. I purchased it, but from what I'm told, it's Dark Souls, but with a lot less clothing. I'm like, all right, I'm there.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you just bought us a new horror game, too, so we're going to have to give that a go sometime.
Yep. Is it Devour?
Devour.
Devour.
Yep.
Yeah. Just
I'm like,
purchased
I've already forgotten the name of it.
$4. Yeah, we should record that. But yeah, we should. That'd be a good game to play.
That'd be great because Kevin jumps. I don't jump as
I
much.
do
I wish I did, but it's fun. You scare the shit out of me, but the monsters don't.
I know. I'm scared because ghosts are real.
That's true, though. Actually, out of all the horror games, the one time I truly jumped was you.
Yes, I'm scary.
That's the only time I can remember being like, "What the?" You've been listening to anything? Anything worth mentioning? I guess.
There's a new Nathaniel Rateliff song out that I heard, and I liked it. It's not gonna be his greatest hit, but it was a good song.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah. So he must have a new album coming out. There's a new album coming out I haven't listened to yet, but there's one track I heard of Dream Theater, so that's not your
good.
music.
You got to be happy though.
Yeah, I like myself some Dream Theater because I.
And what did the one? How was the one song that you heard?
It was Jam. It was Dream Theater. Yeah, I love Dream Theater, and now I've been addicted to reaction shows on YouTube. So I've been watching vocal coaches react to music videos.
Okay.
And she did react to one of the better songs of Dream Theater, and she was floored. She kept rewinding it, and he goes, and it wasn't even because the singing is like you can give or take it. Some people just hate the singing in Dream Theater because it's more operatic, more like it's almost like I don't know Iron Maiden almost. But
I was gonna say like they're like a Maiden Meatloaf vein is in my brain is where I put them. They're theatrical.
They're theatrical, yeah. They're very theatrical. So this song, they definitely the lead singer leaves the stage, So it's just a band playing, and she's like listening. Goes, I cannot believe that the keyboardist and the guitarist are playing like Fly the Bumblebee speed music in sync.
Yeah,
and it's like that's just crazy talk. So they're just super uber talented people.
What is it, Juilliard? I mean,
Juilliard. They all went to Juilliard.
Not for nothing. That's no joke.
Yeah, they're from everybody for the lead singers from New York City. So they're a New York City band. They did some great songs about New York City and after 9/11 that were just like moving. I really love those post 9/11 albums. They're really good.
Seriously, why isn't 9/11 a holiday by now?
I don't know.
Like, what the hell's wrong?
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that for the day off, actually.
No,
It just should be a holiday.
It should be. It was the day the Earth stood still, man.
Yeah, it just
exactly.
I know exactly where it was. My reaction, I think I may have talked about. I don't know if I talked about it on the show. My reaction to hearing a plane hit the World Trade Center was dumbass.
Yeah, I kind of thought that, but then
because a Cessna hitting a tower. I pictured a tower with a plane sticking out of it, like a little plane.
Yeah, but
not a jumbo liner.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fucked up. I finally that taught me what JFK meant.
Oh.
Because like I grew up and everybody was talking about JFK, and I understood before and after events. So if you weren't cognizant and you're listening to this show, once again I have to ask, where are your parents?
Where are your parents?
But aside from that, before and after event is something that it's burned into your psyche. To where I know exactly what I was doing at the time. I was getting pre-approved for a mortgage. I remember the girl that first came in and kind of gave the news and how she looked like a ghost. And I can remember every basic detail about that moment. Yeah. And you start judging your life as either before this event or after it. And it happens naturally. You can't even control it. But it's literally everything changes from that moment on. And so if you have not had any of those events, good on you. Try not to is my advice.
I would say there's 3 so far that really did that to me.
Challenger, really?
Challenger?
Yeah, I've always heard Challenger, and I'm
was in school.
I saw it. Oh, I saw it.
We were watching it in class.
It blew. They're sitting on a fucking rocket. Like that thing is.
I know you shouldn't be shocked. But as it turned out, they didn't die in the explosion.
I know, I heard that.
It was after they hit the water.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But the next one, you'll never get to the next one.
So okay, you weren't alive for JFK. So
no, it was after Challenger, but before 9/11. There was an event that happened. I get exactly what I was doing, where I was, and it was on the radio when I heard.
Challenger didn't even count for me, by the way. Yeah. Even at that age, I was in 5th grade. I remember the exact age, and I'm like,
But I remember everything about that moment because of that. It was the first shocking thing.
Don't get me wrong. It was unexpected and it was tragic. But at the end of the day, we're saying a rocket blew up.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Yeah, they do that.
They do that. Yeah, it happens. Yes. Yeah, but I might as well say it.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I was listening. I was driving my car. I would say that I was probably in high school. So I was like senior level, senior level. And I was driving my car, and all of a sudden the theme to the Muppet Show started playing. Jim Senson's dead. Fuck me up.
The Master of Puppets?
Yeah.
Jim Henson?
Jim Henson,
really?
when he died, I know exactly where I was in my car, listening to the radio, and I was happy to hear the Muppet Show playing, and all of a sudden Jim Henson just died.
That's fascinating.
It fucked me up.
I know what I was doing when somebody told me Jerry died, but that's just because I was working and somebody came and told me Jerry died. I thought it was a weird thing, but
I love myself, Jim Henson.
I love Jim Henson too. I mean, you're getting teary-eyed just thinking about it.
I love Jim Henson.
I did too, but it's mortality's a bummer. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sad, tragic event. But wow, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Jim Henson.
Yeah, he was. Oh God. And I just saw on Waze on the way over here that you can use the Fraggles as like your turning now.
Oh, okay.
Directions.
That's neat.
And I'm like, I can do that. I like myself some Fraggle Rock.
Well, I made reference to it, but I've seen that Master of Puppets thing with the Metallica logo.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Jim Henson. And I'm like, not for nothing. He kind of is the Master of Puppets.
He is. He had a very interesting life. I've seen a few documentaries about him, and he's very interesting, very passionate about his puppetry. Yep. So is his son, which is pretty awesome that his son took over.
That's pretty groovy.
Brian Henson.
Yep. Yeah. It's cool that there are people in the world like that.
Yeah. So, no, I'm a big fan. Plus, he made Labyrinth, and that's one of my favorite childhood movies. He introduced me to Jennifer Connelly. I mean...
Thank you. Yeah, seriously, thank you.
The girl couldn't act herself out of a wet paper bag in Labyrinth. I didn't care at the time.
Not for nothing, she was like 16, wasn't she?
She was just a kid. And now she has an Oscar, so she...
good on her, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I told you that we were talking about WandaVision. We were talking about Vision, and I'm like, I fucking hate that guy. And you're like, really? And then I'm like, no, the guy's amazing. The guy's fucking super talented. But no, fucking hate that guy.
Married to Jennifer Connelly.
But yeah, that guy's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So anyway, yeah, exactly.
Bastard.
He's amazing, but everything he does sucks.
Yes.
It's horrible. We hate him.
I hate him.
Yes.
I hate him.
But I've even seen bad movies of his, and you know what? They're fucking pretty good.
Yeah, because even he did some weird, like, what wasn't he, an angel in one? Like,
Legion.
Yeah,
Legion. That's exactly what I was thinking of. And it was a bad movie, and I've watched it. I'm not kidding. I've seen that movie like 3 times. It's not that bad. And he's amazing.
Yeah, he was in Da Vinci Code, where he flogged himself with that freaking spiked whip. That was twisted.
Goddamn! Somehow we were having a conversation. I'd referenced self-flagellation, and I think it was my sister-in-law said, "Boy, that just sounds wrong." And it's like, "What? That I was self-flagellating all last night?" It's all in how you say it.
It's all in how you say it.
That sounds terrible.
I like to flagellate.
But it just sounds like it just sounds wrong.
It does sound wrong,
and it is wrong. You should not be beating yourself for any reason. I'm pretty,
I'd rather beat yourself than me.
I try. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I try not to speak for any deities, but I'm going to go out on a limb on this one, and I'll speak for your God. And He doesn't want you doing that shit either.
Yeah. No.
But on that note, I haven't really been listening to anything. But my sister-in-law and I had bad 80s music trivia, and when I say bad 80s, I mean the 80s were bad, so it pretty much was all 80s, and it was fantastic, and it was fun playing music trivia, and she listened to some really crappy music, and I think she was completely blown away by how I listen to even crappier. I'm like, I can see your crap, and I raise you even crappier music. So that was a lot of fun. So actually, I'll give a shout out to Bo Barrel right now, because she was on my shout out list anyway, and that music trivia was a lot of fun. I think everyone's a winner.
I had a conversation with my nephew the other day on what you should do if your neighbor's playing Nickelback.
Move.
And
burn their house down.
I said basically, it is your duty to tell them to stop.
Yeah, I think
Usually you don't get involved in what music your neighbor plays, but if they're playing Nickelback, you have to ask them to stop. It's just a requirement.
I did tell a neighbor once that I was playing music way too late at night and way too loud. I knocked on their door and I said 2 rules. 1, don't ever play music this loud. And 2, don't ever play Santana. Just don't do it.
No Santana.
No more Santana.
Yeah. There was a good 2 years you couldn't get away from Santana. You know, after his comeback.
Rob Thomas there.
His Rob Thomas comeback. Smooth, right?
It's just I'm not. Nothing against the man. Just not a Santana fan.
Yeah.
I did want to mention this though. Vacation for me means typically swimming, but it also means I get to read. Like I actually get to cover some ground reading. So that said, I was rereading the Daniel Suarez books, Demon and Freedom, I think is the second one. I'm never 100% on the second one, but whatever the hell the second book in that series is called. I'm telling you, you definitely should read Demon. And if you think it's a piece of crap, then don't bother reading the second one. But I'm telling you, it's entirely worth it. It's right up your alley. And want to give a shout out for that guy, Daniel Suarez, because I literally have read all his stuff, and he's one of the few authors that if he came out with a book tomorrow, I'd read it. I mean, just that guy's that good. And I told you about it earlier, but I'm also reading a book, and it's written by somebody that writes books, and it's named 1Q84 is the name of the book. And I gotta say, I am maybe halfway through it, a little over perhaps, and it is just a pleasure. I have no idea where it's going, but it's been fascinating the whole time, and it's a weird ride, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So,
and that was the one recommended by Adam Savage of the Mythbusters.
but
correct?
to me, it was recommended by you, which I
yeah.
followed that trail
Yeah.
because I'm like, damn, I need a new book.
Yep.
So on vacation, that's what I did. I pulled up my phone and I'm like, okay, Kevin said it came from a list from one of the Mythbusters. So I looked them both up and I'm like, okay, which one's which? Because I don't know the Mythbusters.
Yeah.
And I figured it out. And I'm like, okay. So then I looked up his list. I found that book, and that's how I followed that trail all the way through.
I still watch his. He has his shows where he just does one-day builds of the coolest things. He just like takes apart a Nerf blaster, it, like paints it all black and ages it, and it looks like a real gun when he's done. Like
that's great.
Like a futuristic laser cannon, and then changes all the springs in it so it shoots further. I'm
That's
like,
great.
He's my kind of kid.
I'd actually probably Mythbusters would probably be my kind of show, but I just hours in the day. You know what show I loved? I used to watch all the time. It's a Canadian show, How It's Made.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that before.
And it would just be like, hey, we're going to this factory and we're going to see how something's
yeah,
made.
it's like
I'm
chocolate or something.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, this is amazing.
Yeah, I
This
know.
is so good.
That's a good show. It's a shame that Mythbusters is over, but it was a good show. I
thought that was a myth.
It's a myth. No, it's
the two dudes didn't like each other, right?
no. It's not that they didn't like each other. They could work together. They just would never have dinner together. So they didn't mind being in the same room, but they were, they just weren't friends.
Oh, that's great.
Which I find funny as hell. Because one is just a grumpy bastard, and they're both smart. And the other one, just different approaches, and Adam likes to joke around. The other one likes to be a little more serious, and they just rubbed each other the wrong way.
I don't even know what the commercials were for, but there were these commercials that had a kid that was basically supposed to be a race car driver, and he'd always say, you race me, you're going into the wall. Into the wall. And like after a while, it'd just be into the wall.
Yeah.
But in one of them, he's talking about not hating somebody, and he says, well, I'm not saying I want to go fishing with the man. I think of that line all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you're not saying they want to go fishing together, but they just didn't, weren't necessarily friendly.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, wait, I did have a shout-out song. Because I heard this song, and it made me laugh because, God damn, it sucks getting old.
Yeah.
I heard a song called Breakout by Swing Out Sister from maybe 1983. I have no idea. And it's cheesy, poppy, 1983 kind of music. And honestly, it delighted me. It tickled me at a level I didn't even know I had, because the last time I heard that song probably was in the 80s. So hearing it, it was just, it's not that it's a good song, but nostalgia is a fun feeling. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, yeah, there you go. There's a recommendation. Not really, kind of, I guess. If you, It's a bad song, but it brought me places.
What's the song? Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh, yeah.
You know the song?
Oh,
yeah,
I do.
Rick, so I watched a YouTube video.
Yeah, were you serious about that, by the way? Did you just, were you seriously asking me what Rick Astley was?
Rick Astley, whatever his name is. But there's a YouTube video out there that it's the...
I know where you're going, by the way.
That it starts but never gets going.
All right, wait.
So...
What do you mean?
So it's a Rickroll.
Yeah.
But it starts. So somebody put a YouTube video where it starts, and it's just the same, and he's dancing like this.
Oh, and it never actually gets there. Yeah.
Never gets going.
That's great.
It's like 10 minutes of him you can see him starting to get going, and then starting to get going.
I haven't listened to him, but
Never going to give you
David
up.
Grohl recently said that they realized that Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit is basically Never Gonna Give You Up. And apparently, if you listen to the way the music progresses, they're the same song, apparently. I have not done that.
Oh.
I didn't want to Rickroll myself.
I finally figured out what Teen Spirit was.
What is Teen Spirit? I have no idea.
Deodorant.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, because somebody said that he smelled like Teen Spirit once, and he's like, oh, that's a song.
Smells like
So he's
Teen
making
Spirit.
fun of, cheerleaders and stuff that was making fun of him as a kid.
Okay.
So
That's great.
I think that's pretty cool.
not bitter much at all, but we know how that story ends. So,
yeah.
That's great. Well, on that note,
I still like Dave Grohl. You know this one, the whole Nickelback thing. If you play, you can play Nickelback album backwards and you can hear Satan talk. But if you play it forward, even worse, you hear Nickelback.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's awesome. Yeah, one of them is wrong, and then there's the,
yeah, it's even worse. I love
playing
Dave
it
Grohl.
for is even, the greater evil.
It's even worse. Don't do that.
That's awesome. I'm glad everyone's united on that one.
Yeah, I think the whole world understands that they're just crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, what better way to end the show than to say F Nickelback?
Yes. F Nickelback.
And I notice we're running out of light anyway, so it's getting downright creepy. I guess this is our Halloween special.
Yeah, look, you can actually see the buttons are like flashing. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, they are too. Yeah, that is neat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I do want to give a couple shout-outs, though.
Yes. Okay.
First of all, I'm not wearing my toot hat. No, I'm not wearing a toot shirt, but I'm not wearing my toot hat because my coworker Bill got me a hat from his vacation. And thanks, Bill. I just want to give a shout-out to Bill because that was very awesome of him and completely unnecessary. But, us bald guys like hats, especially when it gets chillier. And it's cold these days. Yeah, in the morning it is cold. In the morning, it's something that takes place long before you.
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you about it someday.
Yeah, the morning, yeah. It was like 2 days ago. I was like, I need a jacket out here. I had no idea.
But I wanted to give a shout out to Audrey, as always. Thank you for your continued support and our new Patreon supporter, Tamon. So thank you very much for your support. Yeah. Greatly appreciate it. And, that's all I got for today. You got anything else, my friend?
No, that's it. I thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. It's great talking to you again, and we'll talk to you soon. With that, this is Sean.
This is Kevin.
This is one other thing.
Good night.